The Bengals practice on Wednesday for the first time as they continue to prepare for Sunday night's matchup against the Ravens in the wild card round of the 2022 NFL playoffs. Hi again, everyone, and welcome into Cincinnati Bengals Talk. I'm James Rapine of allbengals.com. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, ring the bell, and welcome in as the Bengals try to make 22-23, the 2022-2023 season, one to remember. 12-4 AFC North champions, and now they hope to make their way to Phoenix. And it starts with the Baltimore Ravens. Quick injury notes. T. Higgins didn't participate on Wednesday due to an illness. And Alex Kappa, well, he's not going to play this week. We've talked about him. The ankle injury going to keep him out. We'll see if he returns again this season, but certainly not going to play on Sunday against the Ravens, which means you're going to hear from Max Sharping, by the way, in just a second, who's going to fill in at that right guard spot, maybe for the foreseeable future, maybe for the rest of the playoffs. We'll see on that. You're also going to hear from Joe Burrow today, because I thought and we posted the entire news conference, but I thought there was plenty of good things that he said. So let's dive on in. This Bengals team looking to continue what they've done, which over the past 9 weeks or so, they've found a way to win 8 straight games and win in a bunch of different ways. And I think just big picture, looking at this Bengals team versus the rest of the AFC and these other 6 AFC playoff teams that are still alive, still fighting, clawing their way to Phoenix, this Bengals team is as complete as any of the teams remaining. For example, I think the Baltimore Ravens defense is the best defense, not named the Bengals, and you could argue between both of those defenses, but the best defense the Bengals will play on this side of the playoff bracket in the AFC this postseason. I do. And so that's a huge challenge on Sunday. All this talk about Lamar Jackson, will he practice? Will he play? He didn't practice on Wednesday. We'll see if he plays on Sunday. It doesn't feel like he's going to, but you never know. But to me, the storyline is, well, this Bengals team, they've shown they can win defensive battles, defensive slugfests. That's what the Ravens want to make Sunday. And that's one of those things where, can Joe Burrow and this offense get off to a quick start, sort of like they did in week 18, but continue it? Because after that first drive and really initial burst where they scored on 3 straight possessions, aided by turnovers, it was ugly. And at times it's going to be ugly on Sunday night in this playoff matchup. It's an AFC North rival, but they've found a way to weather the storms. And I think that that's a huge characteristic of a championship team, and something that every team is going to have to do, because this time of year, very rarely does an offense just move the ball up and down the field, up and down, up and down, up and down the field. And, maybe they do, and we could certainly see that. But when it's playoff time, it certainly feels different for fans. I know it feels different for me and for journalists and reporters covering the team. But Joe Burrow on Wednesday was asked if this week feels different inside the building.
No. I mean, it's the playoffs. Team we've played a lot. 3rd time this year, so they know us, we know them. May the best team win.
May the best team win. Love it. I love it. I love that mindset. I love that attitude. And that's what you should be thinking, especially against an opponent that you faced twice this year. They know you, you know them. There's not much to hide, even with all this talk that the Bengals offense hid stuff or the Ravens hid stuff. Of course they did. That doesn't mean that there isn't plenty of familiarity between these two teams. And man, oh man, it's going to be exciting. And I think that the thing I'm looking for the most is that Buffalo game, how quick the Bengals came out, and they looked just insane on offense. And then their defense is able to get the stop, and then they get the ball back, and it looks like they're going to move down again and get points for sure, maybe another touchdown. Can they come out that way against the Ravens? Because if you do that against the Ravens, well, I'm not sure they have the offense to come back, regardless of who's at quarterback. And Joe Burrow was asked about a playoff feel, what it's like to play in the playoffs. And he went on to compliment Bengals fans and the atmosphere that took place on Monday Night Football prior to the awful, scary scene with Damar Hamlin, who, by the way, was released from the Buffalo hospital. So great news there. But here's Joe Burrow on the atmosphere and complimenting you, Bengals fans.
It's do or die. That's where you like to be. In those moments, I feel like is where I kind of make my best plays. It's just where I'm comfortable, and these moments are moments that you remember. You don't always remember week 6 games on the road. You remember these playoff games, these home night playoff games, and so we're excited. I know the fans will come out ready to go. That atmosphere on that Monday night game that we didn't unfortunately end up playing, that was the best atmosphere pregame I had ever been a part of. So we're going to need that again on Sunday.
By the way, shout out to Mike Petraglia, CLNS Media. I wasn't able to make it to the Bengals open locker room in interview session on Wednesday, dad duties. But the good news is Mike was able to send us some video, and he posted all these full length interviews right here on YouTube, the Jungle Roar podcast. Check it out. Mike does great work. And I was like, man, thank you so much. I'm going to clip it out. I'm not going to post these full interviews, but clip it out and play some of the stuff for our viewers here on Cincinnati Bengals Talk. So Trags, I appreciate you, my man. And you're going to hear from 2 more Bengals, and we're going to talk trenches. Yes, that's right, trenches. Ted Karras and the newest starting Bengals offensive lineman, Max Sharping. You'll hear from him as well in just a second. But this goes out to you, Houday Nation. Fantasy Life knows how you feel about ruling the jungle, so they're giving you some action in the wild. By using the link in the description, you can bet $10 and get $200 on BetMGM if any NFL team scores a touchdown this week. As long as you're 21 or older and located in Ohio, it's that easy. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Going undefeated in November and December is big, but the law of the jungle takes new shape in January. It's survival of the fittest on the road through the playoffs. And if you want tips, betting picks, trash talk, quips, and more, subscribe to the free Fantasy Life newsletter at fantasylife.com, and make sure you check out that link in the description. Ted Karras is always a treat to the media, and you're going to hear from him in just a second. But let's start with Max Sharping, because Sharping was acquired in September. He was released by the Texans, mostly due to his contract, not necessarily play. They were trying to sneak him onto the practice squad, I think, and the Bengals said, nope, let's scoop you up, and they had enough cap space to do so. And I love it, because to me, on paper, he's their best backup offensive lineman, has been a starter in this league, has started 33 games, has played in big games, playoff games, and now he's stepping into a role where I think it's unrealistic for him to fill Alex Kappa's shoes and replace Kappa. But can he be a competent right guard? I think he can. Here's Sharping and how comfortable he feels in this scheme, in this Bengals offense, since being acquired in September.
I think I've been here all year, so it's not necessarily anything lacking. Cap's just a great player, and he just sees things. He's had so much experience that's really, Cap's just fantastic at what he does. So I'm just hoping to go out there, play to the best of my ability each play, and hopefully be there when Teddy needs me the most.
Call me crazy, but I expect him to play pretty well. Not great. Like I said, I don't think he's going to be Cap. I don't think he's going to be the Bengals' best offensive lineman, but I still think that he's going to play at a pretty competent level. We'll see if he can get it done starting on Sunday against a really unique Ravens defense that does a lot of things to try to confuse opposing quarterbacks at the line of scrimmage, confuse offensive linemen where they're coming from as far as rushing goes. And so we'll see if Sharping and the rest of this offensive line is up for the task. And speaking of the offensive line, and Ted Karras has been, such a fan favorite since arriving in March, and really has emerged as a leader in that locker room, and certainly a leader and representative to the media of this team and of their mindset. Here's Ted Karras on the challenges of facing a team like the Ravens in back-to-back weeks.
I think they have a ton of great players. I think if you go down the line on the guys in this offense, I don't think anyone would say that last week was their best game they played. There's a lot to be improved on. Playing a tough division opponent again now 2 weeks in a row presents some interesting challenges, but we need to be at our best. I think at moments we were not at our best on Sunday. Still got the win. Happy about that, but want to put it away sooner than that if we get the opportunity again.
This is going to be a tough game. ladies and gentlemen. There's no doubt about it. And it's different than going on the road and playing Buffalo. It's a different kind of tough than that. It's a different kind of tough than having to go on the road and play Kansas City. And that's the most likely destinations. If the Bengals are able to get things done this week, they're probably going to end up going to Buffalo next week. And if they squeak out of Buffalo with a win, well, then they're going to probably end up in Kansas City. So 1 week at a time. But this is kind of the opposite. I don't think this Ravens offense is very good. Yes, they have Mark Andrews. Yes, they have some guys that can make plays. They run their offense essentially through their tight ends and running backs. The Bengals should be able to slow that down on defense. But this Ravens defense is talented and has slowed this Bengals offense down this season. 17 points in week 5. We saw last week. I know it's 27 on the scoreboard. Didn't really feel that good, did it? Especially by the end of that game. So we'll see if this offense can hit its stride. They're not going to be perfect. They're not going to move up and down. This isn't going to be the Carolina game. This isn't going to be one of those games like that. But can Joe Burrow be sharper? Can this Bengals offense be sharper? I think that's a big question. And if the answer is yes, I think they'll be in good shape. So we will continue to discuss this game. My goal is to get in the locker room on Thursday, bring you some exclusive content here on Cincinnati Bengals Talk. So until then, make sure you check out the link in the bio with My Fantasy Life and BetMGM. And for Andrew Fox-Miller, our channel coordinator, I'm James Rapine, signing off for now on CBT, Cincinnati Bengals Talk.